Let me say a special good morning to our listeners this morning. Those of you via Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9. Good Tuesday morning to you, our viewers. Channel 7, Channel 11, Channels 20. Hope you're doing all right. Welcome to the point for today, Tuesday, the 7th of November. Bit of rainy morning on the outdoors this morning. And you know it's Opposition Tuesday here on To The Point. And with me this morning, we have Mr. Oliver Joseph. Mr. Joseph, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Well, thank you. It's nice to be back here again.
All right, welcome. Well, a little rainy morning.
Yes, rainy morning. Well, the climate has changed, the weather conditions. We're still having hurricane in November. When I was growing up, we used to say October all over. That has changed now.
Certainly has changed.
But to all the viewers, listeners, I wish you a pleasant day. Now, you see, we cannot describe a rainy day as a bad day, no?
No.
No, some people...
There are people who are so welcome this particular condition that is on the outdoors right now.
Of course, so for me it's a nice day.
And for the last couple of months with the condition that we've been experiencing with the heat and so forth, there are folks who are just so happy.
I love that.
Are we having it the way it is today?
Yes. Really cool it down, yeah.
All right. Well, welcome once again, and we want to get into a conversation this morning. It's still topical. Some may think there's been lots of talk, lots of debates about it. We want to talk about the housing situation here in Grenada, and in terms of the low-income houses that is in the process of giving out. But I want to get from your point of view, sir. If you have some detail that you could probably share with us in the inaugural, arrangements. All right, with the then NMP government with China about the houses. If you could share that information, if you do have some details about that you know of.
Yeah, thank you very much. So let me start from a macro level.
Yeah.
When the houses were built, and I'll come to the agreement with China, because of the dire need for houses in Grenada, Grenadians love to own their own house. Mm-hmm. That is well known. Yeah. When you travel and you rent an apartment, because you know it's temporary, you're coming back, you save your money to build a house in Grenada. So there's always this need, and that was manifested when the application went out was for increase in the houses that were built. Yeah. So the latest set was 653. Okay, 1,000 in all, but 653, the latest. 3,651 people applied.
Yeah.
Let me repeat that.
For only 600 units.
Yeah, exactly. 3,651 people applied. It tells you that there is a high demand for houses in Grenada. And therefore, in that context, the new National Party approached China on a bilateral basis to build 2,000 houses, wasn't one. Okay. 2,000 to help solve that problem.
And that is going back to the initial agreement.
Initial agreement, yes. Remember, we had a relation with Taiwan.
Yes.
And we broke, and we went to China. Mm-hmm. And that was part of the initial agreement for 2,000 houses, because we knew the situation with houses in Grenada.
And that also sprung from Hurricane Ivan also.
But that was before Hurricane Ivan.
It was even before that agreement?
Oh, yes.
All right. I was always thought the reason that the house was given was because of the situation with Hurricane Ivan.
Hurricane Ivan made it worse. He destroyed a lot of low-income people houses that did not have insurance. There's a real problem in Grenada.
Yeah.
The houses that a lot of the houses that were damaged or destroyed completely, they were not insured, I'm sure up to today, the majority of people from the middle, maybe and lower income, are not insuring the houses. And therefore, that's a real challenge. So we came and said, if we get 2,000 houses built, at least we'll be able to tackle that problem.
All right.
But when the NDC came in, they said, well, we could work with 1,000 houses, and you give us the stadium that was destroyed and other things to make up. But the other things were there already. They didn't have to give up the houses, the 1,000 houses, because the 2,000 was in the agreement. And I'm talking from the point of view of someone who saw the agreement.
All right.
When I was permanent secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I saw the agreement. The agreement was on file. And so this government will see the agreement. They were for 2,000. And I think that's why you see the promise of the NDC during the campaign to build 500 houses in every parish. Because the housing need is there. It's there to address it. So we come, and the 1,000 houses complete. The last 653 completed 1,000.
The first one fell.
Yeah, the first 1,000.
All right.
And we, as NMP said, we are going to give these houses at a very low cost to cover the infrastructure work that was done, the land and everything like that, at a very low cost, to the people who cannot afford to go to the bank and get a mortgage. We will assist them. So instead of asking them to go to a financial institution to take a mortgage and pay, we will allow them to occupy these houses and pay on a monthly basis, a very small.
Well, you kind of answering a question that I initially wanted to ask, because I was thinking, what was the arrangement with your original individuals and families? Let's go back to the previous, before that 600, that last 650. If you have any details on that, what was given those houses? That was the initial houses.
Okay, so you had a first phase.
Yes, the first phase.
Yes, and these houses were given to vulnerable people, low income, and we set the threshold at $1,200 as low income for a household. Right? If you're under that, then you will qualify.
Okay.
And you will pay a small amount on a monthly basis. In other words, you were not required to go to a financial institution and take a mortgage, because if you do that, what you're doing, you're not transferring wealth to people, or as I heard some people say, or transferring property ownership. The financial institution owns the home until you finish pay. They own it. They own the house.
So are you suggesting? Suggesting from the New National Party point of view that the earlier arrangement was a better one?
Yeah, because it was intended for people who could not go to a financial institution and get a mortgage.
Right.
That is who we target. These very poor and vulnerable people. I know some people see that's overused term, but there are strict criteria for this thing, right? And to target them, even in the last set, there was a decision by the cabinet of the NNP that 10% of these houses will be reserved for battered women, women in broken relations that want a place to stay.
Folks that need something.
It needs something as a temporary, yes, as a temporary measure. Because you see, the New National Party always focus on assisting people in need, to help them to come up. And so we were quite surprised to hear the announcement that the house will be sold, and that the price at which it was sold, 50,000 and 70,000.
Let me also ask you this, because in terms of the arrangements now, let's go back to the previous arrangements. With the individual that got in the first phase, their houses, and they were paying, were they also paying to own the building?
Yeah, paying to own. Yes.
Paying to own also.
Paying to own, because remember, a price was set.
Yes.
So say for a 2-bedroom and it was valued, say, 40,000. You're paying to own?
You're paying to own.
Yeah, you pay.
So it's typically the same process to appoint then?
No, it's completely different. Remember, in the latter one, you have to face a financial institution.
Yes.
where if you get it, a mortgage is treated just like any other mortgage. So
I understand now that you, in the first phase you were not paying a financial institution, you were paying more to the housing authority.
Yes,
directly,
direct to the housing authority.
But you were paying also to own the house. In
a financial institution, you have certain conditions to meet. So you have to take out insurance. Then you, based on your income, you'll be told how much you need to pay based on your income. And if you have 15 or 20 years to pay, you don't own the house
until
you finish pay off the bank still owns it. So this arrangement puts a lot of pressure on the ordinary folks who wants to go into an apartment with improved living condition, and that was never the intention of the gift. That's a gift that has been sold, you know. It was given to us by the People's Republic of China because we had very good bilateral relations with China. If the government want to build the 500 houses as they announced, they can build it and sell it.
I want to also ask you this in terms of the arrangement. Was it putting a strain on the government institution, especially the housing authorities and so forth, in terms of the arrangement that was made? In terms of, because we hear in previous meetings and so forth that the institution has in terms of press briefings that folks who took advantage of that because knowing that, well, I'm paying to the housing authority or whatever, so I can pay when I want and what I want. Was that putting a strain in any way? Was government concerned about that, look into that kind of conditions in any way? I understand it was for low income individuals, so we understand individuals may go through different financial problems as they go through.
Our concern was always to help people. Government give big concession, millions of dollars in concession to the business sector. So why, when it comes to poor people, we start counting that you got $2 million revenue? We as an NNP government said that is not our fundamental issue. People have to pay. They have an obligation to pay. They should pay. But the circumstances may change that prevent them from making a monthly payment. Our focus was ensuring that poor people have a home to live in.
So this leads to my next question. Was the arrangement working?
Well, it was working because we were fulfilling our objective. Well, yes, you must pay so that the housing authority could maintain it and could expand. But we're not going to throw out a poor man because he lost his job and he could no longer pay, or repossess it like the bank will do. If you not pay, the bank will repossess it, you know. That our main goal was to ensure that the people that cannot afford to get a mortgage and build a house have one. That was our objective. All other things become secondary.
Right.
And we like to focus too much on what it costs when poor people benefiting. What's our benefit? We focus more on the benefits to the people.
All right. We drew for a break, Mr. Drew. Let's take it, and when we come back, we discuss some more. Stay with us, folks. It's to the point for today, Tuesday, the 7th of November. We're coming right back after the break.
Camp.
Mention the wing high, then you have things like man, you must come back, you know. We have the low power that.
It is kind of like the same man, and it's just different name for the same kind of thing.
And last but not least, I just want to say to all the men who saw me, call me, and ask for a piece of cake. I'm baking this weekend.
Join us Fridays at 8 on GBN Television, K105 FM, GBN's Facebook page, and YouTube channel for We Culture.
It is important to know what your road signs and markings means. The zigzag lines means you should not park in the marked area. Parking is allowed inside the solid white lines on the edge of the road. Remember, look out for pedestrians. Pedestrians, be sure the vehicle comes to a complete stop before crossing. These tips can save your life. These tips can make our roads safer for all users. Be safe, be seen, be smart. A message from the Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force.
Coming up on Caribbean Medical, breast cancer.
And millions of women are every year surviving breast cancer and living full and complete lives.
So once again, promotion, prevention, these are areas that we need to strengthen on so that we can even get early detection and then we can walk from there.
Caribbean Medical, right here on this station.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers. Welcome back, Mr. Joseph. We're still spending some time talking on the housing situation here in Grenada for a wee bit. Let's talk about this final set of houses that was, of course, that is now already up for to be given out to individuals once they go through the process that they have to go through. What was really the issue with the houses that was not really given out during the NNP term in office? What was one of the main issues there?
Well, there was some remedial work to be done.
Yeah.
That took some time, and then it was corrected.
Mm-hmm.
And we set a date. We said we started with Carrico. Carrico actually gave us the letters.
Yeah.
If you recall.
Mm-hmm.
For the houses, because there were no real issues there. I will talk about my constituency, where we had 225 units and 1,400 applications.
Mm-hmm.
So the housing authority set up a committee to vet this thing, and it was taking a long time to vet 1,420 applicants because they actually had to go out in the field,
yeah,
to see is it true that you don't have a house, you don't have land, because if that will disqualify you, if you have a house or if you have land.
So there was a process that they had
to go through, and it was a lot of people you're talking about having to go through to come down to 225.
All right.
So you're
talking about the units that was available in your constituency?
Yes, the 225.
Okay.
The process actually extended to other constituencies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why Carrico started and they were able to give letters out, they had 100 units and not as much the application, the amount of people who applied.
Okay.
It was easy to sort it out.
All right.
Right? But when you think, as I said, I started by indicating the amount of people that applied for these houses island-wide. And I remember speaking to a company from Canada, and they're talking about investment. I say, well, listen to the figures. We have 3,000 or something people applying for 600. So you have opportunity right there. I say, if you come to Grenada and put on low-cost housing, not for low income, low-cost housing that people could afford. And they came up with a model using prefab.
Mm-hmm.
And the material was coming from Miami. And in Miami, you must build to the standard to withstand a Category 5 hurricane, because Miami, they get hurricane just like us.
Exactly.
And he said, yes, we could get these things in here. If government give us the 100% concession to bring in the material, and the people have the lands, or if government provide the lands, because they were not prepared to invest in lands, they are prepared to build the houses, then yes, we could come and build a 2-bedroom. That will be a single house, 2-bedroom with the normal thing, bathroom, toilet, kitchen, and everything. Yes. I said, but you need to keep that under 100,000, because if it is above that, it'll be difficult for people to go to the bank and get mortgage, and and it was open to everyone. It was not like government saying, this is for the poor,
Yes.
You build it, whoever could buy. The only caveat to that is you had to pay for it up front.
Okay. It's like a similar situation that with us
right
now.
Yes. Yeah. They're not setting up a company to collect money over the years, and they could build a 1-bedroom, they say, for less than 50,000.
Okay.
Right? They did see that and show the costing to build that for less than fee. And I said, that will be extremely good, because for people who have their lands already, you just build it there and you get in a 1-bedroom with toilet, kitchen, everything, bathroom for less than 50,000. And that is the discussion we were having. And then the election came.
Okay. And I guess that fell through for a bit.
Well, I hope the government could follow up.
All right. Let me also ask you this: we hear a lot about the process that is taking place now. Now, your political organization said it's low-income houses, and the arrangement is that is made right now is not right. Tell us what does that mean in terms of, we understand it's low-income houses, and the arrangement that has been made now by the present administration. You're saying that it's not right in terms of the arrangement. Tell us about that.
Well, it's very simple. It's not right because the poor people would not get it. That is as simple as it is. The poor people who it was intended for will not benefit from it because they cannot go to a financial institution and get a mortgage and buy the house. And so the intended beneficiaries will not benefit from that arrangement. And that is why we are calling on the government to revert to the original arrangement that was done in the first phase, to continue that arrangement so that the intended beneficiaries would be the ones to get the housing units. But you see, when the government develop the policy, that's how people will judge them. Because as a government, you will have certain philosophy, right? And then that will reflect in your policy. So if you have a policy that says, well, government should not be the one building houses for people, and if you have houses that build, then they should buy it. Well, that's your policy.
Yes.
And people will judge you based on your policy. You in government, that you take that decision, people will judge you on that basis. Our policy, as the New National Party, was very clear. These houses were given to us by the People's Republic of China, and we are going to let the poor people have access to it so they can have a better quality of life. I think that, so it's two different philosophies there. Between us. Fundamentally, we differ on that.
Well, it's obvious. It's obvious.
Yes, fundamentally different. So that is the real crux of the matter. While we are speaking out, you will hear speaking out on it. So much.
Well, this also leads to another question that I have. What is the main issue with the process in how the houses are being distributed now? What is one of the main issues from the New National Party point of view in terms of the houses being distributed?
Well, anybody could go and buy one. Anybody can apply. If you don't have a house, right, and you want to buy one, you go to the bank and you get you the mortgage, and you go to housing authority.
But there's still a process before going to the bank, isn't that so? As we hear from the administration, that you do have to have some kind of go to housing authority first. They have to issue you some form of approval.
Well, they have to issue the letter
of approval.
Yeah, they have to get the letter of approval.
But which still means that still not everybody can able to get one.
Well, if you have if you have one, you would not get one.
Mm-hmm. But it still means let's supposedly I don't have one, but I have never made the initial application. Right, instead of to obtain one from the housing authority. Does it mean that I could just now go to the housing authority and tell, hey, I need a house, I have the financial capabilities to purchase one? Is it that what it sounds like?
Well, I am not clear on what the process is, but the fact that they're asking people to go to a financial institution, I would assume that the only qualifying condition left now is that you are not the owner of a house. That is all I can assume. I don't know what other condition will be brought forward. If you're telling me I have to pay $50,000 for a 1-bedroom apartment and $70,000 or $75,000 for a 2-bedroom, so I could only assume that the only thing that will disqualify you is if you already have a house.
All right.
And they're saying, well, no, you have a house, and therefore we should allow people who do not have a house to get one. But I understand it's proving very difficult when you go to the financial institution now to get a mortgage and even to get insurance. Because remember, it's not single houses,
Yeah.
It's a complex. Right.
How disturbing is that in terms of from an insurer point of view, from a new national party take? If you could, I mean, I know you're not an insurance company, you understand, but how difficult would it be for individuals to obtain insurance on that level, knowing that it's not like a single house that they're getting to purchase?
Well, that's something new for insurance companies. Normally you go and say, I would like to insure my house, which is a single house. Now you're going and say, well, I have a unit, right?
Within a complex.
Within a complex, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a common roof, right? Common step, common partition. So I want the insurance. Insurance companies will have to determine how they calculate that risk and determine what premium that will be. So it's a new thing for insurance companies to look at, and my understanding is that people are having difficulty in getting insurance for the unit, and that's part of the problem.
All right. We're due for a break. We're coming right back. We have more discussion, folks. Pretty shortly, we open the phone lines 435-2041 if you do have a question or two relating to the conversation that we're having this morning. You feel free to do so. We're coming right back after the break. Stay with us, folks. It's To The Point for today, Tuesday, the 7th day of November. We're coming right back.
I want you to control your anger. There's a way to feel better. That's one thing to remember. No matter where you are, you can be a star. Stop and take a deep breath and relax yourself. Take another deep breath and relax it, and relax it. Eliminate violence.
The NLA is giving you more chances to multiply your Playway winnings by adding Multi-X to your regular Playway bets to win up to 5 times more. Imagine winning as much as $1,200 instead of $240 with a $10 Playway bet by simply adding Multi-X. Place your Playway bets from $1 to $10 or in increments on your favorite Playway symbols or numbers. Then add the Multi-X option at the same value to win 2 times, 3 times, 5 times more, or free plays. With Multi-X, you must bet the same amount wagered on your regular Playway bets for your winnings to be multiplied. Grenadians, value your dreams and win your way as much as 5 times more with Multi-X added to Playway and watch your money grow. Must be 18 years or older to play. NLA, making your dreams come true.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. It's To The Point here on Classic Radio GBN TV for today, Tuesday, the 7th. We're talking to Mr. Oliver Joseph, and he's representing the new national party, the opposition party here in Grenada. Just a bit of a change of conversation in this segment. We're getting into the state of the economy in this segment, Mr. Joseph. Let's from the new national point of view. What's your take on the state of the economy, being the government being in it a year and so forth, going almost close to 2 years pretty soon? What's your feedback with the state of the economy in Grenada right now?
From a very practical point of view, we are not seeing the jobs being created. For the economy to do well, you must have an injection of capital, of money into the economy. How do you get it? By providing jobs. So I heard one minister.
Well, I was just about to tell you that there was a statement made by our minister lately where there's been a decrease in the percentage of the unemployment rate.
Right. So my only question to him is, tell us the sectors that provided the jobs.
Yeah.
Tell us the areas where the jobs were created. You remember, I was here on a program with you, and when I talk about the growth in the economy, you asked me the question, where did the growth come from? Which sectors? And that was a very good question, because if I say there is growth, I must tell you where.
Yes.
And then I said to you, 40% construction, 30% tourism, 10% wholesale and retail. I remember that very well. So if you saying that there's a reduction in unemployment, we're not challenging you on that. What I'm asking you to do is to say where the jobs were created, because all of us live in Grenada.
Yes.
And we know that there had not been an increase in jobs in Grenada. What you had is people being fired and others replace them. Well, that doesn't give you an increase in the amount of jobs you're creating. So, except for Six Senses Hotel in St. David's that recently started recruiting people, I don't know of any other areas in Grenada where jobs have been created. So, if the minister says he has the figures from the Central Statistics Office showing that there was a decline, just elaborate. Go ahead, and I hope he will do that during the budget, because we expect a next budget soon.
Yeah.
That he'll be able to point out to the Grenadian people where the jobs were created. Because we live in a very small economy. The second thing about money circulating and you have excess surplus. Listen, mathematically, the difference between the surplus and surplus is your income and expenditure. I mean, that's very simple. So if the minister is claiming that they collected so much revenue and they did not have that amount of expenditure, so they have a surplus, well, that's good if you have a surplus, but you need to say how this surplus came about. You have surplus, and in the next breath, you have all this big surplus, you say millions, and at the same time you say you're going to borrow 100 million. Well, if you have all this surplus, millions in surplus, why you would want to borrow? So, making statements like that have to be backed by facts. You know, people must see. Now, when you go around the island and you see all them small shops complaining, things are so slow, some are closing down because of the lack of business activity, which is brought about by a lack of disposable income. People do not have money to spend. Then you ask yourself, how is the economy growing with people spending less money? The economy growing, people spend more money into the account because the government collect more taxes. Because VAT is a tax on transaction, and everyone pays VAT when you purchase goods and services. So if you have more money circulating, the government will collect more revenue. Right. So to see that, we must see the business activity taking place. And if you go around the country, you would not see that. And you will hear the complaint.
All right. Let me also ask you this. Now, from an opposition point of view, what sectors of the economy that it seems to be of concern to the New National Party a whole lot?
Well, a sector that brings in a lot of jobs is the construction sector.
Yes. Right?
They bring in a lot of jobs. Then, if there's the increase in tourism arrivals, that will generate a lot of economic activity. Then the wholesale and retail distribution sector, the services sector, and you have agriculture sector. In the agriculture sector, we have not seen an increase in production, and when I talk to the farmers, they talk about the heat, the weather condition then. Right. That's why they're not producing as much, or that's why you're seeing a decline in production, and you cannot get certain things. Now, the way to deal with that is through irrigation, and that is part of the problem. They say they have requested irrigation facilities from the government, and they have not yet obtained, because what they want is water during the dry season and the heat that was taking place. So you're not seeing an increase there. And you could say, well, because of natural causes, if they were thing, but you could deal with these causes, as I said, by providing irrigation, and then with the closure of the marketing board, the farmers say they do not have a place where they can just deliver their produce. So why would they produce excess amount and do not have a place to sell it? So there are a lot of factors that combine. So even in the seasonal program, what we call the debushing program, well, this government have a big name for it, but you're not seeing gangs on the road. This seasonal program really contribute a lot, because when we have this gang, say like, Christmas time coming, and you're cleaning up the place, and thousands of people is to be employed. And these people support the small shops all over the island, because these are poor people who have their family to take care of, and once they get this income from these temporary jobs, that they go right back into spending in the economy.
So you speak a lot of, some of the noticeable, of course, issues that are going wrong in the economy. Could you speak of, if you can, any noticeable growth in the economy? If you have noticed that taking place since the new administration has came in.
There's a prediction of growth of 3.6% for this fiscal year.
Yes.
And it will come from tourism, increase, tourism arrival. They were hoping that it will come from construction. Mm-hmm. Not seeing any large projects being developed, or even the small ones with a lot of houses being built. You're not seeing that. In the services sector, talk about the creative industry and other sectors, wholesale and retail distribution. I am not seeing that. So the prediction of 3.6% growth, we'll have to wait at the end of the fiscal year to see if that target was met.
All right. We're getting set to entertain some calls this morning. I know there are listeners and viewers out there who may want to chime in on our conversation this morning. We spoke a lot about the housing situation. I hope callers will chime in on that. They may have a question or two that they may have misunderstood. They would like to ask, speak about how we spoke a wee bit on the economy. And let's go over to the phone line and entertain a caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome. Good morning to you, caller. I guess, caller, good morning. Yes, that caller is not there. 435-2041, 435-2041. This opportunity for you to ask, of course, Mr. Joseph a question or two that's related to the conversation that we've been having this morning. 435-2041. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you're welcome, and good morning.
Hello, yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Go right ahead with your contribution, please.
Yes, I actually just switched on, and I think a couple of the words I heard that the gentleman was speaking about the debushing program. Yes?
We were actually speaking about, of course, sectors that is noticed that could cause noticeable growth in the economy. That's what we were actually speaking about.
The what? What are you speaking about?
Paula, are you having an issue in hearing me?
Yes, because it seems as though there's a delay.
I'm not sure of the issue, but
I can see you. My television is switched off. I can see the other gentleman, but it seems as though there is a delay. Can you hear me?
Hearing you loud and clear, caller. So I'm not sure what the issue you're having.
Yeah, the problem I'm ringing, because I was going to ring the ministry this morning, one of the ministries, I don't know which one deals with the cutting of the sides of the road, I think you call it the debushing or the clearing of the roads or something like that. Yes?
Caller, yes.
So, because I know we're in the rainy season, but and your people come along sometimes in the road and just cut and sit down and just move out. I'm not saying that they're not working, but the roads that I'm living in is I live in Mount Parnassus. I'm not very far from the
caller. Let me just ask a question. Our conversation this morning is not ready to talk about the issue of people who are not coming to cut the bushes and so forth. That's not really our conversation this morning. So what we probably do have an open line where we talk in general, maybe what you want to speak about may be more feasible to speak about.
So it's not an open line?
No, it's not.
What is it about?
Caller, you will get back to us a bit, all right? Let's move on, please. 435-2041, 435-2041. I think the caller got misunderstood in terms of...
Well, she did say she joined late.
She joined late, so she probably misunderstood what we're talking about. Let's go back to the phone line. Caller, good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning to you, GT, and good morning to Oliver Joseph. My question to Oliver Joseph is, we know that this housing projects came about after Ivan. Now, the first set of houses were meant to be given out free. There was nothing attached to it except for, we know that they are supposed to be given out free to the people. Now, the NNP went ahead and sold those houses for the people. And I believe that is what led to the people not paying or continue to pay for these houses. Because after they would have known that the houses were given free, they would have had second thought and said, you know what? These houses were not meant to be sold. And as I just said, I believe that is why the people stopped paying for those houses. Now, secondly, during COVID, we know that monies were sent to Grenada to be, given to the people who would have suffered the job, and they would have lost the job, and the business would have shut down and whatever. The NNP government went ahead and give those monies. Actually, people had to pay back the bank for these monies. Because from what I understand is that those monies were given as loan to some people or to the people. So I'm listening to Oliver Joseph speaking about, these houses now that are being sold for $50,000 and $70,000 that, they should either be free, which is wrong. The houses are called, they're called low-income houses. Thirdly, I'm asking Mr. Joseph, how much in total, how much debt Grenada was in when the NNP lost the last election? That's my question to him. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Any to respond to...
I think the reason that the caller is seriously flawed, he started by saying the first set of houses were given free. And the second, to assume that the second set were not given free, China built all the houses, And to say that the NNP sold the first set is totally incorrect. What we did in the first set of houses was to ask low-income people to apply for it. And we had to find out the cost of each unit because there is cost associated with it. And to recover the cost, we said we'll give it to these low-income people, and they will pay monthly to Housing Authority with the intention of owning it after the complete payment. So the caller is completely wrong in his assessment of the situation. You cannot justify that by saying so you could sell these other houses. It was just phase. The condition was the same. You had phase 1 and phase 2. And if you say in phase 1 we sold it, and that's why you're selling it too, well, that to me is not a justification for selling it.
All right. Any other? I think he did ask 3 questions.
Well, he made a comment and then it's talk about the debt. I don't remember what the debt was when we left office.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me see if we can, before we entertain another call, let me see if I can grab a question from someone via the Facebook page. Someone via the Facebook page is saying, And they're saying that in a previous program, Mrs. Modest said that the houses were not rent to own. Also, the houses called let me see if I'm losing that a wee bit. And the houses passed on to other family members. The houses were not rent to own. Also, the houses can't be passed on to other family members, but will be given back to the government. The question, Mr. Joseph, why and what are you saying today is totally different to what Ms. Modest was saying? I'm not sure what Ms. Modest spoke about. I'm not sure what she spoke about either.
Well, I cannot comment on what she said because I didn't hear her say that.
All right, so I'm not sure. 435-2041. We still have approximately just around 8 minutes left on today's program. If you do have a question or two to ask Mr. Joseph, feel free to do so here on the program this morning. We due for a break. I think it should be my final break. When we come back, we take if anyone calls, case of calls, and of course, chiming on this morning's program, we do so when we come back after the break. Stay with us, folks. We're coming right back.
GBN Television News at 7, a pulse on all things Grenadian. Look out for our new features through expanded synergies with our media partners in Barbados, St. Lucia, Jamaica, Trinidad, and beyond. Capturing the latest in news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Credible, informative. Thank you for making us number one. News at 7, live, Monday to Friday on GBN Television, Channel 7 and 11. K105.5 and 105.9, Hot 98.5 and 98.7, GBN Television Facebook page and YouTube channel, and www.gbn.gd. GBN, with you anywhere and everywhere.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. It's to the point for today, Tuesday, the 7th of November. And with me this morning, Ms. Oliver Joseph. Just a few more minutes left on today's program, but we do have another caller online. Let's go over to the phone line and say good morning. Caller, you're welcome. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning to you and your guest. I want to say to Mr. Oliver that the information he giving out to the public is wrong. With one way, you have to get a license to own, to get the loan to go to own the houses. This information is wrong. You don't need no insurance. It's insurance. You don't need no insurance to get that loan. And I want to put it to Mr. Joseph that the information he's giving out is wrong. You don't have to get no insurance. I want to hear his thought on that, please. Thank you.
All right, caller. Thank you so much.
My thought on that is very simple. Someone who went to get a loan told me that they were told they had to get insurance, and I said that, I said I did not go to an insurance company. I said to you, someone went for a mortgage and was told that they would have to get insurance. That is what I said. So
the caller is now saying that is not part of the process, so there's no confirmation on that also.
There's no confirmation on that also, exactly.
All right. Yes. Caller, good morning. Welcome.
Hello, good morning, JT, and good morning to Mr. Oliver. Mr. Oliver, you all love the poor and vulnerable. Are you sure? Real deep love for the poor and vulnerable. Mr. Oliver, after the poor and vulnerable support all you for all this amount of years, 3 times 15 seat, and today the poor and vulnerable couldn't even secure $75,000 to own a little house in this country. Mr. Oliver would like you to tell the Grenadian people how much money is that the NNP leave in debt for the poor and vulnerable to pay. I hear is about something like $3.7 billion. That's a way to show the poor and vulnerable that you all love them so much. Thank you. Could you
Thank
please
you, caller.
tell us?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We just have about 2 minutes left on the show. If you want to respond to the caller.
I wish the caller could point to a government that could end that. The poor and vulnerable in our society. In the United States, there's still people going for food stamp. The richest country in the world. So you will have that. You're not able to solve everything, but what you have to do is try to have policies to help them. And we that is what we are doing, introducing policies. In regards to the debt, the caller not mentioning how much money at the NDC meeting office. When they came, they boast so much that they made a treasury full of money to use. That is not mentioned. If we are reckless and we are not doing a good job, why would you meet all this money there when you come? According to the former opposition leader, a treasury pregnant with money there to use. So,
Ms. Oliver, we come to that state of the morning. We just have about some minutes or so before we wrap today's program up. I want to thank you for being here. Any closing comments before we leave? Of course, we spoke a lot on the housing situation. We didn't get much feedback from the callers this morning in terms of that. Just one or two callers spoke on that. But we spoke a bit on the economy also. Anything in closing?
Well, what we would like to see during this season,
yes,
the Christmas season, we want to see an increase in the bushing gangs on the road for the Christmas, because that will generate income that will be spent in the economy, because we want to see the economy grow, you know.
Yes.
When I go around, I want to see people spending money because it's good for the economy. So if the government spend 10 million, put out 10 million in cleaning up Grenada, because by the road, when you drive through and you clean up, it looks so nice. You beautify the place, and you put 10 million, you go straight back into the economy with these people shopping. So what we are saying, this is not a criticism of, we are saying that we know for sure, and the people in Grenada know that once you put money into this program, you will see it coming right back. You'll be collecting more in taxes. The small shops will be doing well, and the people will be able to have a good Christmas. And we had something called special projects, where you do small projects in community and you pay these gangs to go out and do, if it's cleaning the drain, the work temporary, putting money again in the hands of the people. That is what we would like to see. That will increase. So we're not saying that just in a negative way. We're saying that to benefit the government too, because they will benefit the country, and the country will benefit once you have a lot of people employed. So we're saying create the jobs in the economy so that we can see growth.
All right. I want to thank you once again, Mr. Oliver, for being on the program this morning. It's a pleasure to have you as always. Have yourself a great day, sir.
Thank you very much. Same to you.
All right. Hey, folks, that's how we take a wrap for today's program. And up to the point, join us again for another edition tomorrow, once the Almighty permits. Have yourself a good one. That's why we say goodbye.